welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Sports Bar, right here in downtown Dormont, 3024, Pittsburgh, PA, 15216. You guys can put that in your GPS. Come on down for great food. They got specials. We got the best bartender in the city, Tracy, here. Just ask anybody. She gave me this nice water with 2 lemons. 2 lemons, as Andy taught me to say. We have a nice day to talk about sports. Of course, it was the Pirate opener on April Fools, and I want to tell you they're not going to lose any more games. And I'll let you decide that. And I'm Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Chip the Prophet Hayner. Let me guess. Pirates? What's on your mind?
No, it's a beautiful day today, opening day. The snow is flying. It makes you feel like it's baseball season. But what's on my mind? All of us at one time or another have played sports, whether we played them recreationally, professionally, or whatever. And we were always taught that when you played a game that you played to win. And you gave it your best effort, and there was always going to be a winner and a loser. There's a sport that, I question whether it's a sport or not, but soccer, okay? Soccer is not a very popular sport in the United States, but it is one of the most watched sport worldwide. But right now, the United States is in the process of trying to qualify for the next World Cup. And I like to support American teams as much as anybody, even though I don't particularly care for the sport. But they had a big match last week, and at the end of the match, the players were crying, and the coach was crying, and they talked about how they left it all out on the field, and they didn't even win the game. They were overjoyed because they tied. If anybody ever expects anyone to take soccer seriously, how can you rejoice over tying a game? I mean, you either win it or you lose it. But that seemed to be a pretty big deal. But, it's one of those things that make me scratch my head. And the last thing being that it's opening day, baseball season, a former Pirate found out today that he now has a job again in the major leagues. One of Pittsburgh's fan favorites, Jason Bay, has made the Seattle Mariners 25-man roster. So he will be playing Major League Baseball again. But that being said, he's still the highest paid outfielder for the New York Mets this year. Isn't that amazing?
And that's part of Chip's Trivia Time. You can tune in tomorrow night when we get another edition of Chip's Trivia Time. Bunch of good information. And now we go to one of the favorite segments I have at Sips Sports Bar. It's called Smoking Jim. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. What a surprise! Pirates are under 500. Sorry about that. I love my country. I love my country. But my country will never get out of debt as long as they continue to pay bums like Tony Romo $100 million. Tony Romo couldn't lead silent prayer. Tony Romo sounds like a place that you go to get a real good steak. Listen, before Romo, the Dallas Cowboys was considered America's team. The Dallas Cowboys had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Roger Staubach, Hall of Fame quarterback. Troy Aikman, Hall of Fame quarterback. Tony Romo, Hall of Shame quarterback. Listen, not only does Romo choke at the end of the games, but he also makes poor decisions. The worst decision he ever made in his life was breaking up with Jessica Simpson. Hey, listen, how about them Cowboys? The Pittsburgh Steelers got 6 Super Bowl rings. The Dallas Cowboys got 5 Super Bowl rings. The Cowboys will never win another Super Bowl as long as Tony Romo is their quarterback, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are already on the stairway to 7.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. I didn't know how we'd even get on the Steelers on a day like today, except for the weather. So I appreciate those insights.
And Jerry the Genius strikes again.
That he does. And what's on my mind, I got to do a couple infomercials.
Infomercial, wow.
We have, what do I have here? Oh, that's right, the unicycle. The Wobble let's see, the Butler Wobble is one of the hosts. Now, the guy I talked to is called Dave Crack. He's going to be one of our guest hosts on April 22nd. So he can't wait to come from Butler, from the country, down to the big city here.
Hey, Al, got a quick question for you. Do you have to go to Butler to wobble?
Well, save that for when Dave comes down here, because he's going to bring a couple of his unicycles, and he's going to put people on them to do the wobble. So that's coming up in July. You'll hear more about it on the 22nd.
Make sure they go to approved head.
Then we got our boxing here. Smoking Jim, there's an April 6th event at Du Bois, and that's coming up. And then we're going to be BPTV. You got myself, the Talking Machine, just learning boxing. Smoking Jim Frazier, who's an expert in the boxing ring. We got Aaron Ward's going to be on the camera, so that thing will be fantastic. You got to check out the Iron Man boxing that we have up all the time. So we'll be there at the Doubletree, and where's that at, Smoking?
God's country, Monroeville.
And it's at 2 p.m., April 14th. And one of our guests last week, Andy Sebastian's going to be there doing the ring announcing, and just a great guy. You'll have to hear him talk about the ring girls when we get them in there. And then on April 20th, another boxing event at the Royal Place Restaurant. There's even going to be a dinner, a Hall of Fame dinner, where one of our new guests, Mike Bayan, he'll be on there. And the fights will start at 7:30, and Andy Sebastian will be there. All right, enough infomercials for today. What's on my mind is I'm watching basketball, and I'm shocked by the Shockers, right? And that's one of my best friends, this Dave Brown, who grew up in Wichita. So he's texting me, he's calling me, and as they're blowing the team out there, all of a sudden there's a couple calls. So he starts saying, should the referees be making this call? And I can't do his accent because he's from Kansas there. And I go, no, but I think they'll still win. And they did win. They hung on, then they ended up taking advantage of it. But as I'm watching other basketball games, when Louisville come to play, one of the worst injuries that I saw since Theismann and a couple other injuries in the past, this kid went up for the ball, tried to block a shot, come down one leg, and you can see that he broke right through. The bone went through the skin. It was horrific. Then you don't think they show the replay. Sure enough, they showed the replay again, and it's just so horrific. People were in shock there. And it shows you the character of all the people involved there, both teams. Look at how they all come together to support this young man who kept saying, just win the game, which I didn't know. That's why these players were crying. Here's a guy with a bone hanging out of his leg.
You mean he didn't extort his teammates on to tie?
No.
Okay.
This is an American sport. We play to win, Chipper. I thought you knew that. Well, that's what's on my mind.
Must not have been soccer players.
And now we're going to go to our guests, and we'll start that in a second here. Now, the author of Slick Move Guide is here. Now, tell the folks who you are. You've been on our Level 20 show, but this is your first time at Sips Sports Bar.
Right. I'm the author of the Slick Move Guide, which I wrote in 2008. And now the second edition came out last fall, and it's for professional athletes or anyone who's doing a career relocation.
Well, how about we have another one? Chip Hayner on our show.
I just wanted
and his
to
wife,
say,
Stephanie.
This is a plug. This is a plug for her book.
I
just moved this weekend, and she used the advice in that book to make our last move, which happened Saturday.
Stephanie should be up
very, very smoothly.
Well,
So,
Stephanie was
good
at the
stuff,
Pirate
good
game
stuff
all
in there.
day.
I recommend it.
And she saw too much baseball, folks, to be in front of the camera. So that's what happened. She saw so many hits in the park. Yeah, she didn't. She's frozen.
The only thing that was hitting in the park today was her teeth chattering because it was so cold.
Well, Jody, first of all, how can people get a hold of this great book? Because I read it. I did read it. Unlike Smoking Jim Frazier, I've read the book.
I feel so good coming here. You guys love the book. That's great.
Well, I know I do. He had a good experience, and Smoking Jim likes a good picture. And then look, you can see coming, and you can see going and coming here. So that's how we are here. And Jody said she was a little bit nervous, so we're going to let her talk about herself now.
Oh, that's great. Well, did you know that relocation ranks with divorce and death on the
It's in the top
scale?
3.
Yes.
No, what about buying a car?
Are any of you divorced?
Yes. Why are you
Never
pointing
have
at
been,
me?
never will be.
Cut that.
Right, Andrew?
I'm supposed to ask the questions. So what made you think of a book like this?
Well, I actually moved quite a few times.
Whoa.
So,
Well,
and
what's quite a few?
5 times in 6 years.
Wow.
So, and they weren't paid for, so we had to pay for them ourselves. And I became really good at moving quickly and staying organized. And
We're not going to ask
trying
why
to-
you were moving quickly. But we'll leave that for another day, folks. But in other words, she's an expert on getting you out of the house you're in
saving money,
and saving money
yes.
and getting you into the next one.
staying calm.
And I'll tell you what, to share some of the advice
let's
that
get
you
a
had
little
in the-
shameless
had in that
promotion
book.
here.
You know, staying organized, and you know, there was so much money we saved ourselves by organizing it on our own. You know,
Right.
and I didn't pay a moving company to move us. I rented a truck and
And
really
they
inexpensive.
followed the advice of the slick move guy.
I'm telling you,
Stephanie I let her borrow it, and I can't say that she copied 100 pages of it.
I didn't
hear
know
that.
Jody was coming
I-
tonight, and
I
it's just
heard
funny
that she
that weren't covered.
photocopied my book.
I told her,
No, she
here's what
didn't.
I told her, to
No, she
protect
didn't.
the owner and the copyright here. I said, please, just use the book that I'm giving you. And she thought she owed me some money for it, and I said, no, don't worry about it. We'll discuss that later, but you can get this book.
On Amazon.com.
Right, you're supposed to talk about this.
And it is also in the Kindle Select program. So if you have a Kindle, you can actually read for free.
No way.
Yes.
So what she did, she didn't break any
She has a
rules.
Kindle.
That's what I was getting to
No,
with
I just
the
called the
copy.
police, so they're coming to get
Well,
her.
you know they're right up the street here. Well, now that we're getting serious here.
Yeah, but you can read for free if you have a Kindle, and it is
How about
available.
a Nook? I got a Nook.
I don't have it as a Nook yet, but I'm working on that.
Yeah, that's
So-
you know, that's the generic form of a Kindle.
right.
Hey, it's Barnes and Noble, and it was a present I got my son.
There are eco-friendly tips in here. If you're spending a lot of money on packing supplies, there's eco-friendly tips.
What would be your top 3 tips on a move? I know there's 100 or 200,
Right.
but what would be like the top 3 things when you're thinking about moving?
To save big money, I would
Yes.
say get estimates from at least 3 moving companies. I
Okay.
had a little fender bender a couple years ago, and I went to they see the insurance adjuster, and he asked me what I did, and I told him. He told me he paid $8,000 to move from New Orleans to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
That's what I said, and he said, "Why? Is that a lot?" He said, "There were no problems." I said,
I guess not.
Yeah.
At $8,000, I thought maybe he was moving from China, you know.
Could be.
But definitely get an estimate. We bargain shop for everything. You don't want to buy that phone because you want to get the best price, and we're going out to the stores and we're looking at the flyers. And when it comes to moving, that stress factor takes over, and we get afraid because it's such a big thing that we just call a moving company. And really, you should price shop like you do with.
Well, you know, one
your
of the things that we did to get empty boxes, we have a friend that works at a liquor store. And every time we get a
Right.
shipment in, we were at the auto parts store. They're unloading the truck. Hey, you got any empty boxes?
Right.
They filled the back of our Jeep up with them. You know, so we, you know,
Right.
free is me.
And this book will tell you which kind of boxes are best for what you're packing, where to get those ones, because there's stronger boxes and there's weaker boxes. So it kind of tells you which ones to use for what, so you don't break things.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
There's a couple good tips.
Oh, there's a couple good tips, but when you're in between homes, you kind of need a bunch of stuff with you, because you never know how long the moving company's going to take until they drop off your household goods. So there's actually a survival box list inside here that will tell you what you should have with you. A lot of people might forget they need their medicine, or just
Right.
things that
At
you
least
use
for a day or
every
two,
day.
maybe.
So you can there's a lot of charts and lists in here, so you can just reference and see what you need.
No, it sounds great. Look, we have our co-host and his wife. They were successful.
I'm so
Less
happy.
stress.
That made me so happy to hear them.
Well, see that? That's why we wanted you on the show.
Jody, I had no idea you were coming. This, unsolicited.
Well, this is live TV. I try to keep it exciting here. So
you guys really made my night. That was very nice.
You made my move a lot easier.
You could be a guest on our show.
Thank you.
And what did you wear here?
Steelers.
Now we got Steeler talk again. So, well, thanks for being on the show, Jody.
All right, thank you.
Take care. We have a special guest here right from SIP Sports Bar, Tina Caputo. How are you tonight? Welcome to our show.
Thank you very, very much. Wonderful show.
Good evening,
Thank
Tina.
you.
It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
And I heard you're the expert on SIP Sports Bar here. No?
Well, it depends on which aspect of sports.
All right. Well, which aspect do you know about?
I'm not an expert. But I like to come here.
Well, how about all these TV screens and just the bar? Nice setup here.
Beautiful bar. Do you know about these pictures on the wall? Do you know what they are?
We know what they are because we're sports guys. Why don't you tell the people out here since you know?
Super Bowl
Well,
10.
we have big
Super Bowl 9.
paintings of the 4 Sports Illustrated covers of the 4 Super Bowls that the Steelers won back in the 70s. So that's what they are.
10,
Did you know that?
9.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah, there's scholars.
Thank you.
And that's why you're on the show,
Yeah.
Tina.
I guess I am a sports
See,
expert.
13 and 14 now.
this is why
13's the one closest
this
to
is
us,
why we
14's
bring
the
experts
scholars.
here who don't know they're experts.
And
they
they're
are.
wonderful. And many different sports memorabilia in the restaurant from all different eras. We have our Mario Lemieux wall and our Franco Harris wall and
How about
Tony
above us?
Dorsa
What do you
and
see above
Chaz
us?
Bonasaur.
Yeah.
Chaz from Pitt. Chaz. Shout out. The Kamikaze Kid. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And one of the crowds mentioned the Kamikaze Kid.
Right.
That's been a few years. You see who's up above us?
Dan Marino.
Okay.
He's been here.
Dan was here.
Yeah, he was here.
Wow. What about Tony Dorsett?
Tony hasn't been here.
Not yet. Not yet. We're holding out for him.
Tony, we want you to come on in, Tony.
There you go. This is from Tina, who enjoys SIP Sports Bar. Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Am I off?
You're off now. Hey, thank you very much. We're going to go back to some of our local sports, and I want to hear about the Pirate game because I heard some people were down there. So, Chip, why don't you lead off since you're our resident drinking the Kool-Aid Pirate fan?
Well, unfortunately, the Pirates started off the season on a losing note. But, I know I was talking about this in spring training when I brought up the starting pitchers for today's game, Jeff Smarsda and A.J. Burnett. And then both of them pitched great games today. Smarsda seems to be able to have this ability to handcuff the Pirates. In the last 3 games he's pitched against the Pirates, he's won each of them. And, and this is a kid that played college football at Notre Dame. And now he decided he's going to stick with the career that's going to give him the most longevity in professional sports and, and evidently the biggest paycheck. But keep an eye on this kid. Last year was his first year as a starter, and the Cubs only pitched him 175 innings. And unlike Steven Strasburg, who made all the news, they shut down Smarsda in the second week of September last year because he hit his innings limit. This year they're going to let him pitch 200-plus innings, so they pretty much got the goals. Look to him to be one of the top pitchers in the National League this year. But if you look at what, the big question mark going into the season, nobody, on all the airways, everybody's complaining about the Pirates' a lack of pitching. But the Pirates pitching staff today struck out 15 batters. That's pretty amazing, being that there's only 27 outs in a baseball game. And, A.J. Burnett threw 10 strikeouts. And the unfortunate thing about the whole game is he's got one pitch got away from him in the first inning, and then first baseman for the Cubs put it in the seats. I mean, without that, they're probably still playing baseball because
they would have tied it up. Right?
The game ended up 3-1. So I'm really pleased with the way things have started out. They're playing solid defense. The bats are going to come, and they have always said in baseball that great pitching will beat great hitting, unless it doesn't.
Good comment, Chip, but I still wanted to see a win here.
You'll see plenty of them, and as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead on out on a limb. Pirates record for this year, number of wins. Vegas has it, the over and under at 77.5 games. You're hearing it right now, 86 and 76. That's what the Pirates are going to do this year.
Wow.
Just so you don't bet the house on that, that's all.
Well, I just got two concerns. One, Jeff, the pitcher for the Cubs, was as great a wide receiver I've ever seen in my life. I always thought he was the equal of Larry Fitzgerald, a guy that I got a lot of respect for. So for him to choose baseball over football, I thought was a big decision because he was a premier wide receiver. But two, my concerns about the Pirates is that the Houston Astros are no longer playing 18 games against the Buccos, and for them to break 500 this year without playing the Houston Astros, may take really some outstanding win streaks along the way.
And that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned the Houston Astros because the entire Houston Astros 25-man roster is getting paid less than Alex Rodriguez is getting paid to nurse an injured hip back. A-Rod's going to make $29.5 million this year.
Wow.
The Astros team payroll this year is just shy of $25 million.
Wow.
And they tattooed the Texas Rangers last night on national television.
Yeah.
So
I caught part of that game.
Did you? Couldn't you sleep? You needed something to put you to sleep.
Well, I was going to read, but then I seen that the game was on.
What book you reading now? I got a new one for you. Hold it. Wait a second. Here's the two best pictures of this. The front and the back.
Ray Shero
The best part.
pulled some magic last week, made 3 big trades to help bolster the Penguins roster, and then in the first couple of minutes of the game on Saturday, the Penguins captain goes down like he was shot. He's got a broken jaw. He's out indefinitely. And to be honest with you, I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, Sid will be back, and he'll be playing at that level, but the team is just going to pull together, and they're still going to break the record for consecutive games.
Right.
They've got 15 now.
I'm with
They're
you
gonna
on it.
they're gonna win at least 18.
They can do that? They can break the record without Yager?
Yes, they can. I think they could even go possibly and win out for the season because of how they're playing. And now you got Malkin coming back. He's not even warmed up, and he scored 1 goal in his first appearance. And then here's the ace that we have. You didn't even bring it up, Smoking Jim. The 3rd African-American hockey player in Pittsburgh since 1967 was just brought on the team, Ingela.
Gilnia.
Sound like he's
Gilnia.
bad luck. Sydney's out.
Little Z sent a post on Facebook that said, Jim, now you got a reason to watch the Penguins.
Over his head. Little Z went over his head.
I like that one. You see that?
How about that for history?
We read your post. But, and then, the most amazing fact about the way the Penguins have been playing lately, the last 4 games the Penguins have played, they've given up 1 goal. They've had 3 shutouts in a row.
Hold it. Who's the goaltender? He's on fire.
Volkun. Volkun's got back-to-back shutouts, and he got partial credit for his
Yes, he
shutout
did.
when Fleury got injured.
Exactly.
But in their last 5 games, they've given up 1 goal. They had a shutout. They gave up 1 goal and then 3 consecutive shutouts. They're playing lights out on defense. And
The only bad thing is, I hate to even say it, is with Martin getting hurt, he was on an all-star pace as a defenseman, and we hadn't seen that from him since he'd been here. And he's the guy, when he talked to Shero, he said, I want to stay in Pittsburgh. And that showed you what kind of talent he does have and how he wanted to show up for the games, because people were talking so bad about him. He heard it all, and he knows how he performed.
You know, the last 3 years, you know, the Penguins were early exits from the playoffs after winning the 2009 Stanley Cup, okay? And what Ray Shero has done is he has put the pieces together that, you know, and Evgeny Malkin gets hurt and somebody else steps into his role, and the Penguins keep on winning. You know, now they know that they can play and they can win without Sidney Crosby. Obviously, Crosby's playing you know, the best hockey of his career. He's still going to win the Hart Trophy. I wouldn't be too surprised if he doesn't still win the scoring title without playing the rest of the season.
I don't know about that, Chip. I got to differ with you on that. I think we could have a couple players like Kunitz and maybe Malkin when he gets fired up. He could go on a streak. We've seen him score those points.
Hey, in the game Thursday night, Volkun had an assist, so we got goaltenders that score points.
We're hitting on all cylinders there with the Penguins there, so no problem there. And like we predicted here, we believe Stanley Cup. We didn't waver from the beginning of the season.
Something that scares me, okay?
All right.
The Flyers were completely out of the playoff picture, and they've won 2 games in a row, and they're only 3 points out of the number 8 seed. We're in the number 1 position. That would mean we would play Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs, and somehow that team seems to be the kryptonite that the Penguins trip over.
Hey,
lately.
when it's your time to win the Cup, which it is this year, you want the best against you. If that's the best that they can throw at us.
But they make the Penguins play down to their level.
Well, let's hope they're like the old Steelers where they win those games too, when you play down to the level. So we'll look forward to that. Hey, we're going to bring our guest on. We have another guest coming on, so we'll get little Z in the house here. All right, we got one of our traveling guest hosts. He come from downtown Munhall. He was so deep in water with this plumbing that he does that he had to go home and shower up and clean up for us, folks. We got little Z here from Brenner Contract. Hold on, buddy. I don't know.
You have to wipe the sweat off your brow?
No, he's so soaking wet. Come on. What is that? Give me that towel back here. I do that. The best young businessman, they do everything. But call them if you're in trouble. Small jobs, big jobs. And if you're underwater, don't look them up in the yellow pages. Go to Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. That's what you do. Like us, because we're up to 210 likes. Devin, I don't know if you checked it, but we're at 210. I'm hoping we get to 211 because nobody's watching the show right now. It'll be on YouTube. All right, let's go to little Z here.
Let's talk.
What's on your mind on sports? What's your top thing on your mind here?
I knew the Pirates are going to lose. Hey, the Pirates are the only professional team in baseball that when they lose the first game, like the season's pretty much over in the first game. So I look forward to the other 181 games this season. I'm
161. I must correct you there, youngster.
I'm sorry.
And I've seen 20 of those years like that. I know you haven't seen that many.
Oh, man. We've already established on the show, on the footage, that I was 8 years old the last time the Pirates were relevant.
I know. See?
So, but,
well, you know you're riling up Chip at the end there. So.
That's all right. We're all entitled to our opinions.
Chip has to be optimistic. I mean, it is the nicest baseball stadium in the country.
Yeah,
somebody posted that
a lot of baseball games.
Yeah, it's a great stadium, but the baseball product is by far the worst. I'm sorry. I'm wearing the Pirates hat, and I'm all for it. But I mean, 20 straight years.
He represents.
20 straight years of losing. I mean, it's pretty hard to support a loser that long. I mean, but we've been doing it for a long time. So, but on the Penguins.
All right, let's talk Penguins.
Let's talk Penguins.
Come on.
Marc-Andre Fleury, man, we need you back. You're the #1 goalie. You're not the backup. You're the franchise. You'll be back. Volkun is the backup. He was brought in to be the backup. That's what backups do. Give you about 8 to 10 games a year. That's what he does. So, I mean, I'm proud. I'm happy for you, number 92. But the opposite, number 29, is the franchise. And he'll be back. That's the only way we can win a Stanley Cup, unless Volkun continues to play like that.
And I will tell you, Fleury's the horse they're going to ride to the Cup. Having Volkun fill in gives him the opportunity to heal completely, so that we'll be there when we need him.
Definitely. And like I guess Smoking Jim didn't point out, or he did point out, maybe he did, I missed the beginning, but Jerome McGinley came over from the Calgary Flames, and He's a brother, and hopefully
Keep
now
hope alive.
Smoking Jim is going to start watching the games. I mean, we could get him to a Penguin game now. Hopefully. He'll
I
spark
don't know.
some
You got to
interest
get
in
him free tickets. If you get him free tickets, he'll be there. Well,
Okay.
maybe. Depends on the boxing or something.
He's from Monroeville.
That was
I'm
one
calling
of
the Gateway Athletic Department and requesting 2 tickets for me and Smoking Jim to the Penguin game because
Wow.
I got a kid that they can recruit. I'm not going to discuss anything more than that until we get the tickets, and then I'll
Hey,
give
you
them
know
all
Was
what?
he a
the
guest
information.
on one of our shows?
Hey, Alan,
He might have been a previous guest from last week.
Hey, Alan, I'd like to speak to one of Little Z's. He was
G.
touting about the Miami Heat. No, it's a shame that they didn't
nice.
get the record. But what I heard after the game, it explains to me why I hate the Miami Heat as much as I do. Because LeBron James and the rest of the boys cried because the Chicago Bulls were fouling them hard. And I was thinking, well, geez, what are they supposed to do? Stand there and let you be a highlight reel? They actually played to try to win the game, and they beat them. And instead of whining about it, they should have just accepted the loss and moved on. But that's the Heat.
The Miami Heat did win last night without LeBron James and Dwayne Wade against the San Antonio Spurs at San Antonio. So regardless, I mean, they don't etch streaks on championship trophies. So what you really want to do is you want to win at the end of the year, and you want to get the hardware more so than you want any kind of streak. And the Penguins take note of that. We want the Stanley Cup. We don't want the win streak record.
We don't want 93,
Correct.
right?
And I remember '93. The Islanders, Tom
You got to
Brass.
be even younger then.
Yeah, I remember '93.
Yeah, 93, the Penguins are a little bit too full of themselves.
Yes,
they
were.
they thought they won 2 cups in a row and that they were just going to cakewalk through, and they forgot about the people that they were playing.
Was it Yager on that team?
Islanders.
I think that might have been Yonkers last year.
That's
on
why
that
it
team.
was.
I believe so.
Exactly. And Smoking Jim has not watched a hockey game since.
No.
On a more serious note, the kid that broke his leg yesterday for
where?
Louisville, that was pretty
was
horrific.
talking
And
about it.
I hope the young man makes a full recovery and he can walk again, more so than ever play basketball. Athletics aren't everything. You need your health, and you got to be able to function on a day-to-day basis, more so than you need to play basketball every day.
And I tell you what, there's not better argument to stay in school and get your degree than watching what he did to his leg, because you know what? His college education will make him more money than that leg will, And he said his leg broke in multiple places.
2
I mean,
places. Yeah,
Just
it was terrible.
and he didn't land on it wrong. He didn't step on somebody's ankle and roll it. It's just one of those freak accidents that happen. But
He should have turned pro last year.
Well, he didn't have a coach from the Pittsburgh area, Calipari, so that's why he didn't. Because he'll get you to the NBA one and done, and you might even be one and done and get that big silver trophy there.
Hey, that's what it's all about, trophies. and
speaking of
checks.
trophies, what about the Final Four? Who would have figured? I mean,
shockers.
I got 1 out of
Hold
4.
it, Little Z, since you're holding
Louisville.
our sheets, where are me and Big Mike D on there? Did you check the latest stats? Because I know we didn't have the shockers.
As far as I was up until the Sweet 16 that I was up to date on.
Okay.
That you guys were in good shape, and they have Louisville winning it all. So
That could help us.
it can help you.
So Pittsburgh Sportsline, who you can like us on Facebook, because we're at 210. I didn't hear 211 yet, so we're trying to get that pumped up a little bit.
And
to-
Pittsburgh Sports Nation.
Well, Pittsburgh Sports Nation's the one that's helping us out. Mike D's getting people
Yes, he
liking
is.
us
He's
like
very-
crazy.
he's a
Plus,
very
Little
busy
Z,
young man.
Little Z does that. I don't know what happened to Big Mike D, because I tried calling him. I couldn't get a hold of him. He might be in shock because of the shockers.
The bookies
might
in
be-
Midland got him.
Well, you know what? And also, let's give a little shout out to Marty Galassi from Robert Morris.
Yes.
The Frozen Four will be here not this weekend, but next weekend. College hockey's national championship.
I'm going to try
will
to
be
get him on
decided
our
here at
show.
the
We'll
console.
try to get him on the show before
And I'll be with him on Wednesday.
Quinnipiac is the odds-on favorite.
That's hockey.
That's what I said.
People that don't know
Quinnipiac.
Frozen 4.
Yeah.
That's hockey, college hockey.
We talk Frozen 4 on our show on Tuesday night, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talk all sports. Even if we don't know something about it, we can talk about it. I guarantee you that. Okay?
And if we ever run into dead air, we just have Big Mike
Yeah.
Tara go off on a tangent.
You've
Oh, he's good
been
for that.
on the show on
Yeah,
Tuesday
he's good
night.
for that. How you doing, Mike? If you're watching,
Right.
I'm gonna see you Tuesday night again one of these nights.
Yeah. Well, you might not see him. You might replace him. Oh, did I say that out loud? Wait a
Jeez.
second.
Wally
Mike.
Chip.
All right, what else do you have on sports on your mind? You usually have something else locally, or you got boxing to help promote, or
Yeah, Vasquez, I guess you guys didn't get the memo about Saturday night at the Court Time Sports Complex. That Sammy Vasquez won again.
yeah, no.
We
Kept
found
the
a
streak
court
going.
time. I didn't know that.
Yes, he did.
Why didn't we get the memo?
Hey, some promotions are different than others.
Because we can't read Spanish, so we didn't get it.
Mexican.
Who can?
Mexican.
And then they do who can? American. They do both on the T-shirt.
They do.
That's why I'm going to be their promotional guy.
You should. And then you guys would have known about Saturday night.
We tried. They've been guests.
So how
on
many
our show.
fights has Sammy had now?
8. He's
think-
undefeated.
yes,
8-0.
I believe it. It's
I
not-
know some stats.
Yes, he's right. Alan is right. Very right.
I'm glad to see he's finding some people to fight because I know that it's getting harder and harder for him to find opponents because they keep on watching his clips on YouTube and they don't want to get hit by him.
Well, they don't leave those fights up there too long because I've tried to check it out on their Facebook page, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Unlike Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook.
Correct.
You can watch that. And we had a couple questions. People want to know this BPTV that you guys come out of the neighborhood, the downtown Dormont. Where can we watch this? Verizon 32, and if you're in Bethel Park, just to confuse you, Comcast 7. But Verizon is in all the public access communities from Plum and Rowville. Whoa, fire truck just went by. So, but you can check it out on Verizon. Of course, you can go to YouTube, and we post all of our shows up there on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook, and we need a few more likes. Let's see if we can get to 212.
And speaking on boxing, we got a big fight coming up this weekend. The Pittsburgh kid, Paul Spadafora, good friend of mine, is back in the ring this Saturday night at Mountaineer Racetrack and Casino. He's fighting a guy named Frankel. He's a pretty tough Irish lad, and he's going to give him a run for his money. But hopefully, Paul, he seems like he's ready to go.
What kind of
Great
phone
shape.
do you have? Can you take a couple videos like that Dr. Trina Hess did at the last fight? She was taking videos of each fight that was down there, and I posted it up. She posted it on Pittsburgh
we could do
Sportsline.
that.
If you can get a couple clips, because I don't know how they're promoting it and who got all the arrangements, but we'd like to at least promote the boxing there.
We'll do that. We'll get you some footage of that fight down there, that's for sure.
And you'll be our man in the inside there.
I'll
all right?
take care of
It'll be
business this
Pittsburgh
Saturday night.
Sportsline in West Virginia.
Brenner Contracting, on the road.
When's Lightning Rod's next fight?
Lightning Rod's next fight. I believe Lightning Rod's next fight is May 3rd at California University of Pennsylvania. And Jason Bergman's also going to be fighting on that
That's
card.
a Friday night, huh?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Yes, it
I
is.
believe
Let
so.
me confirm that again, Smoking Jim. Yes.
So that's when Rod Salker's getting back into the ring. Bergman. The card hasn't officially been fully announced, but that's what's going on.
Well, I heard rumors that BPTV is going to be up there filming that.
I hope. They should have been there last Saturday night for Team Vasquez. I mean, that's just
All they
my
got to
opinion.
do is give us a call. It's not hard to find us.
I can't do everything, guys. I mean, I know you're
No,
on
we've
my
talked.
hats and on my shirts,
What hat?
on everything I got. I mean, you gotta pay me or do something for me, man. Help me
Hey,
out, man.
we don't
I gotta
get
eat
paid.
too.
Wait a second. This is public access TV. I know you think
Pay
we're
them too.
superstars
Yeah.
on here, but
Well,
there's not
if
a
you pay
lot.
me, I'll pay them. So it's the trickle down theory. You gotta
Hold
start
it a
somewhere.
second. They get free. Let me explain this to you, young buckaroo. There's promotions, and then you pay for those promotions. So as we're doing this, we can help promote it as they defray the cost for the excellent camera.
Yeah, watch
camera
Bethel
people.
Park TV every Tuesday night, please. Come to Sip Sports Bar every Monday night, and that's the best way you can help this show. And like them on Facebook, Pittsburgh Sportsline at Facebook.
And because of that free promo, Brenner Contracting. like them as many times as you like us.
Please. Don't just like me. Call me. Use me.
Whoa.
Don't call people in the Yellow Pages, please. I'm not saying any names.
He's not underwater in the Yellow Pages, contrary to what you heard.
Correct.
He's right here.
Right here. Every Monday night.
And if you need to move or you move into a house, check out the Slick Move Guide, because this guy will help fix up the house that you moved in that's causing all that stress.
We rent U-Haul trucks. We'll help you move. You read that book and call me. I'll help you.
He'll go by the checklist. He promised us that before the show.
Promise.
There you go. Well, I think we're going to go to our last segment with talking local sports again. We might have missed a few here. Did we cover basketball with the high school basketball?
High school basketball playoffs are over. They awarded the championships last weekend. Unfortunately, all the Western Pennsylvania teams kind of fell by the wayside. Beaver Falls was the only one to bring home the state trophy this year.
Okay.
Newcastle tripped and fell in the semis. Lincoln Park fell in the semis. Montour. Yeah, they tripped and fell. It's one and done in these tournaments, but they gave a great showing for the local talent.
I know a lot about Beaver Falls. Every season, Still Valley gets bounced out of the football playoffs by Beaver Falls. Yeah. If we could ever get past Beaver Falls, we maybe get to Heinz Field one day. I got to start having some sons.
And Still Valley got some great basketball teams, and I love watching some football games at Still Valley High School as well. But I tell you what, Saturday afternoon, I did a TV broadcast for the first ever City League All-Star game, and it was at Westinghouse High School.
No way.
And I tell you what, I went there without my bulletproof vest, but everything worked out real well. Matter of fact, I made a nice contact because Penn State McKee Sports basketball coach was there, so maybe next week we'll get him to come on. He actually gave 3 full scholarships that day during the girls' game. Outstanding game, outstanding. And afterwards, I followed this SWAT truck to Edgewood. I actually came out. The SWAT truck was going.
You had an escort. You actually got an escort to go home.
Oh my goodness! I thought my main man Devin was on board. I tell you what, it was scary. It was an armor SWAT truck. I tell you what, I had to follow them.
Let's not forget about April 14th out in God's country. Smoking Jim will be out there with letters of intent for the University of Gateway. So if you got any 6th graders that you're looking to find the right high school to send them to, Smoking Jim's your man.
Hey, they're always
don't worry about your age. They know how to do
documentation. They recruit them young, man.
They got you covered, man. You could be 22 from Zimbabwe, and you're all right, man. You're 16. We'll shave you.
What, do they get a new birth certificate?
Correct.
Okay.
Smoking Jimmy studied tonight at, what was that, Cal? General Studies.
General Studies. I'm taking, May 3rd, I'm taking my degree.
And the general he studied was General So.
Hopefully we get Smoking Jim back to Cal U for the first time in about 20 years.
I took all my free electives, bowling, archery, I had it all, golf.
What kind of grades did you get up there?
All you had to do was show up, baby. Just show up.
There's an honest man. You don't find too many like Smoking Jim there. Are we going to make it up for May 3rd up there?
We'll be there.
That's what Little Z wants to know, because he said
should be about 5,000 people strong in the Mon Valley, so we're going to rock and roll, and then afterwards, we're going to hit the after parties. Brownsville, here we come, Uniontown. We're going to hit it all, baby.
What did you say? What neighborhood? I didn't hear what neighborhood you were talking about.
And what happens
Let
if
your afro grow up.
I'm getting a cut tomorrow.
What happens in Fayette County stays in Fayette County.
Smoking Jim, I'm going to Zazu tomorrow. Marianne's going to cut my hair, okay? But thank you.
Marianne, you better do a good job. That's insured. That hair is insured. That's the secret to the show.
Yeah, especially after John Galeza was in awe of that. How many guests do you have to do that?
That's the talking machine's secret weapon.
No. Just having great guests
and it
and
can
great
withstand
with me.
hurricane force winds.
And a great bartender. That's the key. There's Tracy.
Tracy,
are you ready to talk a little bit? No swearing. No swearing.
Get in there for a couple Just say hi to all the people at home.
No,
Tell everybody who monitors to come out to Sip Sports Bar on Monday nights.
we might have to.
You can come up. You don't
Muzzle her
swear.
potty mouth.
Don't be shy.
No, I'm not. I'm good.
And this is what a great place it is, folks. You got a venue. It's just fantastic. All the 8 screens that are up here. You got personable bartenders. They just treat you right here. It's a great location. After 7 o'clock, you can park here on the street. Jody found it no problem. She thought it was Chip's Sports Bar. And we keep telling people it's Sip Sports Bar. So she's not the first to be confused by that, but we appreciate it. She made it on time, too.
I'm always punctual.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
good.
know. Oh, that was a
Very
voice from Jody
admirable
again.
trait.
That's
What
professional.
There is no owner here. He's not here. Or I'd bring him up. If the owner were here, I'd bring him up. He's not here.
It is a great place, though. Don't just take my word for it. Come on out. You can come out any day of the week. You don't have to come out on Monday night. You know, come out and try it out for yourself. Take everybody here's word for
They
it.
had Pork the Torque here on Saturday night. We didn't get the reviews on
Ooh,
it.
Chadwick.
Yeah,
Oh,
Porky was
man.
out here. How did you
Shut.
miss it?
Oh, man. Just like I missed that Wilkinsburg charity game or whatever Smoking Jim didn't take me to. You're never supposed to leave security behind.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. I thought about you as soon as I walked through the metal detectors.
And we're going to have the Steelerettes back next week with Mike Anthony and the crew there. The Steelerettes are going to come next week.
Oh, really?
So make sure you're here early, Litter Z.
I won't miss it for the world.
Okay. We'll have to tell Big Mike D to come out since we don't know what happened. We lost Big Mike D. I didn't hear anything from him. He was reporting on sports all weekend, did a great job.
He
putting
steered the Maryland bookies the wrong way. They don't play that.
Oh, no. Is that it?
Should have
we
won
hope
with the
not.
Cubs. Should have won with the Cubs, brother.
We hope not. Maybe he was stuck at the Pirate game there with all that sleet and snow. He got under the weather there.
He needs to remember to 583-5047 if you ever get in a jam.
Hold on,
Call
what
me.
is that number?
412-583-5047, Big Mike, and I'll come find you, buddy.
Who's gonna
Even
answer
on the
that
north
phone?
side.
Who
Right
will?
now, I'll come find you after the show.
Okay.
Little Z will pour the cement.
You guys are too.
A pair of custom-made shoes, huh?
Oh, we got 3 rivers.
There must be a full moon or something, or we just missed it because it's getting a little too crazy for even me. So we're going to be winding this show down. I like to bring up a couple closing remarks if you guys have them. We'll start with Little Z. If you have anything else you want to close with sports here.
With sports?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, unless you're talking plumbing.
Well, if you want to talk plumbing, we could talk plumbing.
That's enough plumbing.
Okay.
Can we get the rats out of Homestead?
If they're in the pipes, yes.
Shout out to them Uptown boys. Whoops, I didn't say that. Please edit that, please, Mr. Cable. Sorry. Finally, we got a couple minutes left. I just want to say I hope the Pirates really do something better in the next couple games on this homestand. It's an 11-game homestand, and I really want them to show me something. I'm a show-me kind of guy, and I just want them to show me something. And that's my closing argument. Anything, please. Some heart. That's all for me.
Well, I got the word that we got more time, so we could talk plumbing, but we're not going to talk plumbing.
Okay.
We still got sports to talk here. Now, I'm interested in what you guys think. Do you actually think the Shockers could win out? Do you think they could beat Louisville?
No, you know, you look at the way Louisville
I just had to
took
ask.
the way Louisville took
We gotta
apart
talk some
Duke.
sports here.
I mean, I don't think anybody's beating Louisville. I mean, the
Anything's possible,
Duke's the
man.
best coached team in basketball.
That's why
You
they
know?
play the games. Anything's possible.
And they blew them out, what, 22
They
points
blew them up,
there.
but I tell you, another team that really impressed me yesterday was you watch what Michigan did when they took apart Florida. That Michigan team has been pretty impressive, and I mean they didn't even look like Florida belonged in the same gym as them yesterday.
Yeah. Who was predicting Florida? Anybody we know? Not in this instance. You like Miami, buddy, right?
Yeah.
I know you're
The
fading
U.
out because you're disappointed about the U.
Now they're under investigation.
Well, what about Syracuse? Well, of course. But what about Syracuse there? They
What
look
do
pretty
you
good.
think about a Big East national championship?
That's what I'm talking about.
Louisville
I
and
want to see Louisville.
Syracuse, huh? That could happen.
And that way-
Syracuse
I
is
might
playing.
give the edge to the zone. I might really have to give the edge
That
to
2-3
Syracuse.
zone that
That 2-3
Syracuse was
zone is
playing.
giving problems and fits to everybody in this tournament that they
If
played.
you score from outside, that zone starts to break down.
And then one
Right.
kid they got back off injury, Carter Williams. He's been playing like, kind of reminds me of Kemba Walker a couple of years ago when he carried.
What happened to Kemba Walker?
Well,
Smoking
you know,
Jim, did you tell us?
that's what that goes to tell
Why are you
you.
always going to
A
smoking
great
Jim
college
on
player doesn't necessarily equate to a great pro player.
Good point, Chip. I think Chip answered that question.
Well, all I know is two things. Two things. You can't count out nothing in Wichita. Two of the greatest running backs of all time went to North High School in Wichita,
Hey, I know
Kansas.
one of 'em.
Gail Sears and Barry Sanders.
Oh, I thought you were. I was
So
trying to give
can't
you a
get-
pause.
There's some winners that come out of Wichita, baby.
I thought Barry Sanders played at Oklahoma State.
Well, he went to high school at North High School in Wichita, Kansas. Same high school that produced Gail Sears.
And my good friend is
Didn't they
friends
call
with
Gail
Barry
Sayers the
Sanders.
Kansas
Really?
Comet?
Brown.
Yes,
He's
sir.
project manager at Pitt. You should meet the guy.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, my buddy knows him.
Who knows who?
Barry Sanders. That's why I knew the answer to the question.
Really?
He grew up in Wichita.
Yeah, North High School.
Great.
My buddy Dave Brown, project manager at Pitt. How do you think I get to some of those games?
Well, here's a little tip. Barry Sanders' son, he got 4 boys. His son was an All-American high school running back. Where's he playing college at right now?
Hopefully Oklahoma State.
Stanford.
Wow.
Stanford. So after he flunks out of there, maybe he'll be at Oklahoma State.
He might be.
No, come on now. What year is he?
Freshman.
Speaking of running backs in local sports,
Russell Shell.
does anybody know what's going on with Russell Shell? Because
Smoking
he's
Jim's
been
not
given,
allowed to tell us.
he's
Smoking
been
Jim,
given a
what-
leave of
give us the
absence.
Inside on Russell Shell, Mr. Shell. Hold on. What would you encourage the young man to do, Russell Shell, at this point? Do you think he should go to Arizona State with the high octane man?
Well, Russell Shell likes the ladies, but if I was Russell Shell, I would stay at Pitt and try to go 3 years and go to the NFL. I would suck it up another 2 more seasons and go to the NFL. I think that's what Russell Shell should
Well,
do.
you know, to
but he's
speak-
been used to being pampered his whole life. So
To speak to that point, if you think about it, you're looking at all the NFL running backs that went to the University of Pittsburgh, and how many top running backs in the NFL ever came out of Arizona State? Yeah, you think of one?
Brian
I can't think of
Urlacher.
any.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He
He's-
played like safety or something. He ended up being a great linebacker.
Yeah, good point.
Never
See?
won anything really.
But I
though.
mean, you know,
so
you
that
got
goes to show you about the
you've
hard
got
work point.
LaShawn McCoy, you've got Curtis Martin, you got Tony Dorsett. You know, I mean, Deion Lewis.
Ironhead.
He plays here at Pitt. I mean, you know, there's a groundwork here to
And they're
get you
going
to
to be in
the
the
NFL.
ACC, so they're going to be getting a lot more national exposure. I hope them boys on the south side bring it, Oakland. You guys better bring it, because bring it more than them guys in PNC Park, please. Please.
That's a beautiful place to watch baseball.
It is. I love it to watch. You know, to be there, to see the skyline of the city of Pittsburgh. But the product, maybe some of the other teams coming in, or you
who
know,
won when the Pirates played the Altoona Curve?
I think Altoona Curve won, and that's why we can't find Mike Drakovich. I think he took the Pirates. He thought it was going to be a landslide.
Big Mike D. Now we know why he's missing. Don't
Call
watch
me. I'll
this
come
show.
to Altoona and find you, Mike.
By the time the
Me and
show's on
Smoking
the air,
Jim.
it might be too late. Wait a second.
We're gonna swing by the Homewood Bruston roller rink, grab a couple guys, and we're gonna come find you.
Well,
tonight.
Lil Z gonna do what he can to get extra air time. Sorry, Big Mike.
Hey,
If that was the case, I wouldn't be trying to come find you.
yeah, but hold it. The best is always on last. And we
is.
got Little Z here tonight, so we got the best tonight
Well,
here.
he's gonna try to find Big Mike the same way OJ tried to find Nicole's killer.
Whoa, whoa. Smoking Jim. That was really some off-color humor here.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Tony Cochran, rest in peace. Great defense, the dream team.
Hey, folks, I can't apologize for this. These are all the personal opinions of myself and others. They don't reflect the station or the community we're in or wherever we're traveling, because I can't keep track of any of this. We're covering way too much stuff here. I hope you enjoy the show, though. Chip, any closing remarks here?
86 and 76. Mark it down.
Are you betting the house? No. Okay.
Stephanie says no.
It's not in concrete, Little Z. So Okay,
The beat
so-
is not up for sale.
Smoking Jim, any final thoughts here?
Whether Russell Shell's in the house or not, everybody go to the Pitt spring game at Bethel Park High School. The University of Bethel Park High School is hosting the spring game. Come on out and show your love.
Hey, and if the word gets out, maybe Smoking Jim and I can provide some commentary like we did for the Police Pals event.
That day I'll be at the patch.
I'll be there. So
Oak
you
Street.
can send me with a camera. You can send me with these guys. We'll get a show going. Maybe if we find Mike Drakovich, he could come too.
You guys are too much. We're going to have to just end this show because it's out of control. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching the show. I want to thank Aaron Ward, Devin Shea on the cameras and the control panel. They're just fantastic. Tracy, the best bartender in Dormont.
Woo!
And we appreciate everybody watching in Bethel Park and all the public access TV on Verizon.
And hey,
so
let's
even
not
Jody's
forget
dad, he can watch Verizon 32.
the Slick Moving Guide. You can find it on Amazon.
Hold it, one more shameless promotion. Jody, we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Smoking Jim, did you see that? Okay. Thanks again. Have a great night. Thanks for watching our show.